I'm Paul Majors.
And I'm Kirsten Lindquist.
I'm Jeff Passold. Coming up on News 11 at 5, the All-Star Game is all set at the Dome. We'll have a live report.
Also coming up at 5, that inferno out west continues to rage on. We'll have that report firsthand.
And water worries continue in some suburban communities. We'll have the latest on some restrictions. News 11 at 5 is next.
At Vision World, we know all the trials and tribulations that can happen to eyewear. We know that accidents can happen, no matter how careful you are.
That she has never seen this.
We hope you have a second pair when you have a problem. This month, Vision World offers 2 complete pairs of eyeglasses for only $69. Choose from over 100 frames. So before you have a problem, remember, 2 pairs for $69 this month at Vision World.
Big city executive dressing for success, eh, son?
Not too successful with that ring around the collar, dear. Listen to your mother. Stains like this need whisk.
But, Ma, I used a powder.
No buts, dear. Whisk works better. See? No more ring around the collar.
Thanks, Mom. Everything's clean. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to close. I will. And use whisk.
Trust Whisk, America's favorite liquid for 25 years.
This is a message for people who don't like their jobs. People who went to college to have a good future, but got locked into jobs with no future at all. These people could call Control Data Institute and train for careers in computer programming. Control Data Institute can train them in just 6.5 months. Call this number today. Don't be chained to a dead-end job.
Now, from the action center of the Twin Cities, News 11 with Paul Majors, Kirsten Lindquist, Jeff Passold on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
Good afternoon. Topping News 11 at 5. The stage is set for the All-Star Game.
Our live coverage of the event begins with Dale Shornack, who has a bird's eye view of it all. Dale?
Well, Paul and Kirsten, just about 2.5 hours from now, the 1985 All-Star Game gets underway in the Metrodome, and we've got a bird's-eye view of the dome from right here, 37 stories up on the top of the Cedar Square West apartment building. Tonight, about 56,000 fans will fill every seat in the Metrodome. They've come here from every part of the country to watch baseball's best players slug it out in the same field. The gates to the Metrodome are opening right now. Many of the fans have come here early to watch the players practice. That'll be going on for a while yet. Traffic around the dome is not too bad yet. It has increased over the past 15 minutes, but so far no major traffic jams to report. That is good. Well, I don't see her down in the crowd, but somewhere Joan Steffen is standing outside the Metrodome to tell us what's happening close up. Joan?
Over here. Thank you very much, Dale. Hate to admit it on such an exciting day, but I'm feeling a little like Cinderella without an invitation to the ball. I'm standing here without tickets in a crowd of people who are very excited, and it's rapidly expanding, ready to go in and watch a little baseball history being made. But if you're ticketless like me, there's still a chance. You do get your all-star fix in one way. Here's an idea of what's going on tonight. Right up until game time, league members and VIPs are attending a special Metrodome reception in the Vikings Lounge. Now, we're not invited to that, but at 6:30, all the pregame festivities begin, including our stereo, Channel 11 coverage of the game, and, of course, everybody's welcome there. Later on, after the game, the sky will be lit up above the Metrodome with fireworks. You should be able to see that for a few miles. And a media and baseball officials reception is scheduled to go until 3 in the morning. But right now, batting practice is going on inside the dome, and we will go to Jeff Passold live with that story. Jeff?
All right, thanks a lot, Joan. Batting practice, the American League taking their swings behind me right now. Trivia question for you, everybody, so take note. We'll get the answer to you a little bit later on. 55 All-Star games. What is the record so far in the All-Star game? Who's won the most games? Who's lost the most games? Has there been any ties? We'll let you know in a minute. You know, these players aren't just in town to play baseball. Many of them are in the Twin Cities to do some charitable work as well, visiting some Twin Cities charities, and Diane Rossi reports.
Now that's the look of anticipation. It was a big day for the kids at the St. Joseph's Home for Children. Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves was the first All-Star to arrive.
All right.
With pens, baseballs, and crumpled paper in hands, Fans waited patiently for their autographs. And Murphy didn't miss the chance to find out who the kids thought would win tonight.
Who do you think's going to win tonight? American League or National League? Better say American League with that shirt.
Yeah, American League.
Okay.
Jimmy Key and Ernie Witt of the Toronto Blue Jays were soon to follow, and they too had their fair share of baseball fans to contend with. And for those who couldn't participate in the fun outdoors, well, the players made a special effort to visit the different floors inside.
Did you?
Chance to meet and shake the hand of a professional baseball player. But this was a thrill not only for the kids, but for the players as well.
This is more important than the game.
It's a thrill for me to come see them.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm real excited to see everything.
But all too soon, the fun and excitement was over. But this was a day most of the children would remember. The day when the all-star baseball players came to visit. Diane Rossi, News 11 in Minneapolis.
So it has been a busy day for the players. As we said, they're behind us now going through the workouts. The National League will be taking the field in about an hour. And here's the answer to that trivia question. The National League leads the All-Star Series. They've won 35, lost just 19, and tied once. So we're cheering for the American League tonight, especially since we're an American League town. Paul, Kirsten, back to you. We'll be back in sports with a special guest.
All right, Jeff. Jeff Passel reporting from the Metrodome. Well, the All-Star events are even attracting that Christmas-time celebrity Santa Claus. Old St. Nick emerged from a limousine today at Loring Park sporting his well-known red suit. But wait a minute, that's not Santa. That's NBC's weather celebrity Willard Scott, modeling his special Santa duds made by the tailors at the Guthrie Theater. Willard's been in town doing the Today Show program from the Metrodome.
Well, while Willard's been fooling around, it looks like he was doing that today. Our own weatherman, Paul Douglas, has been out in the backyard working up a weather forecast for you.
Right you are. It's nice to have Willard in town, too. He's quite the gentleman. Good to have you here, Willard. Weather-wise, I have never been happier in my life to point out a few chubby clouds on the western horizon, some showers popping up to our west, and we are slipping and sliding into a wet, unsettled, thundery pattern. We need every drop of that rain. Here's today's weather trivia quiz question. We do have a tropical depression in the Atlantic, south and west of Bermuda. At what wind speed does a depression become a tropical storm? And there are your choices, anywhere from 39 up to 74 miles an hour. You want to check Doppler 11. No precipitation, certainly nothing severe within 60 miles of the Twin Cities on Doppler, but there is a growing line of showers right now to our west from Albany southward to about Grove City and Litchfield. These showers moving east at about 20 miles an hour. They could arrive in the Twin Cities sometime after 9 or 10 o'clock, not until. Afternoon temperatures still rather comfortable across much of 11 country. It is heating up to our west. 90s over the western Dakotas. That's only half the story. These are the dew points, a measure of how much moisture there is in the atmosphere. This sticky air is oozing northward, and it is going to set off and on thunderstorms from tonight right through Thursday as that frontal system stalls right over 11 country. The best chance of storms tomorrow coming north of the cities. There could actually be some heavy storms. 1 to 2 inch rains can't be ruled out. There could even be severe storms over northwestern Minnesota tonight. Highs tomorrow near 90. It'll be steamy in the cities. Cooler air on the way for the weekend. Here's your 11 outlook for tonight. Dry for at least the next 3 or 4 hours, but watch out for a thunderstorm later on tonight. A low by morning of 62 to 67 degrees. I think many of us will escape with half an inch to an inch of rain by the end of the week. We'll have more weather details and an answer to the quiz coming up. Paul and Kirsten.
Let's get one of those showers right over my yard. I could use the help.
We all need it, yep.
Yeah, thanks,
okay.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul. All-Star activities are not confined to the city of Minneapolis. One of St. Paul's finest marching bands stepped in to celebrate the All-Star game with some music and fanfare today. We'll have more news for you in a moment.
Trimming the fat. Today, dietitians are learning to prepare diets low in saturated fat. This helps reduce serum cholesterol and may help to lower our risk of heart disease. We are showing them Puritan has less saturated fat than most vegetable oils. It's trimmer. See for yourself. Both oils were frozen.
The other brand is hardened and traps the tomato due to saturated and other fats. Puritan lets the tomato fall. It has less of these fats.
Puritan oil, more than cholesterol-free. It's lower in saturated fat than the leading oil. Now you know the difference.
We're in New Orleans at world-famous Arnaud's restaurant. Tonight, we're secretly replacing the fine coffee they usually serve with dark, sparkling Folgers crystals. Will it be rich enough for our special guests?
This is the best coffee I've had in a long time. Definitely was very rich. Rich flavor. It was very good.
What would you say if I told you that it was Folgers Crystals?
Folgers Crystals? As in instant? We've never had instant coffee this good. Will they just sell it to the restaurants, or can I buy it at home? I will buy it at home. That's extraordinary.
This is what diners at world-famous Arno's restaurant told us about Folgers Crystals. Coffee rich enough to be served in America's finest restaurants.
Follow the winner. As a student at Northwestern Electronics Institute, I'm learning the basic technical knowledge I need to pursue my career goals. With Northwestern Electronics Institute, I made the right decision. Follow the winner. Choose NEI.
Northwestern Electronics Institute. Call 781-4881.
I'm a winner.
Those firefighters in Iowa had to close down the city of Cedar Rapids today. A huge gray cloud of toxic smoke billowed from an abandoned sewage treatment plant. 7 people were injured. 10,000 people had to evacuate their homes, spending as long as 22 hours in shelters. Firefighters were called to the scene yesterday and were on duty until this afternoon. Firefighters in St. Paul used axes and pitchforks to get at the source of a blaze today on Sims Avenue. That fire was traced to the attic of a home. A teenager at home led firefighters to a window fan where the fire started. No one was injured. 40 years ago today, an historic explosion lit up the sky in New Mexico. On July 16, 1945, the first atomic bomb was tested near Los Alamos for the U.S. government. A similar bomb was used during the Second World War. The test bomb left behind a mushroom cloud along with some vivid memories.
Well, those fires out west are raging on, and while some of those blazes burn out, others are starting up.
News 11's Dennis Stauffer followed the efforts of some Minnesota firefighters sent to California, and he's just returned to the newsroom. Dennis?
Paul, Kirsten, please forgive my appearance. We did just get back. We went from the fire to the plane and then here, and we're working on a 10 o'clock package right now. We thought we'd take a moment and show you what it's like when a fire crew nearly gets caught by the fire. We were getting some shots of firefighters working a fire line late yesterday when they realized that the line wouldn't hold. The main body of the fire was racing right at us.
Getting ready to come up here and here. We got to get...
Besides us, there were 6 water trucks and crews and another news crew, all parked on a 1-lane dirt road that dead ends just a little further up the mountain. Because of their position, the trucks got out before we did. Then, within just seconds, this is what the way out looked like. A fire this intense creates its own wind, just like a firestorm. Obviously, we were able to slip out, but only because the first wave of the fire passed without burning down the other side of the mountain. This was the 3rd time this particular fire has crossed one of the lines intended to stop it, so the firefighters, for them, it's a situation they risk getting into whenever they work a fire line. And this was the first fire quite like this that I've ever been on, and I must say I acquired a tremendous respect for what those guys are doing out there.
Well, Dennis, I know when you're out there, those people have to work very, very hard. This fire is now contained, is that correct?
That's not the case. That particular breach of the line, which we just saw, burned another 500 acres within a matter of hours and has taken the fire into territory that is very, very difficult to maneuver in. It's a whole new ball game out there right now.
It's a very rough area out there. You're absolutely right. Hopefully they'll get some moisture from the water in there and help things out.
Hopefully.
Thank you. Well, President Reagan is looking on the brighter side today after yesterday's cancer diagnosis. Today, Nancy Reagan went to the Bethesda Naval Hospital with an armload of well wishes. She brought a bunch of balloons to the president. Mrs. Reagan is assisting in the White House duties while the president is in the hospital recuperating.
On this week's Child Find, a mystery in Chicago. A young girl who was kidnapped is still missing after her father was charged in the disappearance. Joan Steffend has more.
Norelle Sanders, out of work and living in a 3rd-floor walk-up, thought kidnapping was something she'd never have to worry about. But 9 months ago, her daughter, Deborah Lynn, was taken by her father, and Norelle hasn't seen her since. Her only contact was a phone call last October.
He called and put the baby on the phone, let me talk to her, but at the time she was crying and said she was afraid. She was scared.
And that was about the time Deborah Lynn turned 2. Her birthday presents still wait for her, just as an arrest warrant was waiting for her dad. 2 weeks ago, Odell Shepard was arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping. But now he claims he hasn't seen the child since December. He says he gave Deborah Lynn back to her mother then.
Did he? No.
The police are baffled, and Norell says she doesn't know where to turn for help. If you've seen her daughter, please call Contact 11 at 371-0111. Joan Steffend, News 11.
Some safety precautions were taken today for kids in Maple Grove and Osseo. Children from daycare centers in those suburbs had their fingerprints taken. Some kids found the experience a little frightening, but the ordeal was a necessary one. The fingerprints go on file for parents who may need to look for their kids in the event of an emergency.
Well, President Reagan's tax proposals are still being considered on Capitol Hill.
Mary Stuckey has more on her series from the newsroom with possible changes in tax deductions. Mary?
That's right, Kirsten. The president thinks the current tax law affecting deductions gives people all sorts of excuses to make up those deductions. So President Reagan wants to set a limit.
One deduction affected by the president's proposal, union dues. Currently, union dues are deductible if a taxpayer itemizes. The president wants to allow this deduction only if union dues and all of a taxpayer's other miscellaneous expenses exceed 1% of his income. For most taxpayers, this would mean fewer deductions.
Now, the president thinks that this would eliminate complicated record keeping, cut down on errors, and simply discourage people from making up deductions. Congress is expected to vote on this plan sometime this year. Back to you, Paul and Kirsten.
Thank you, Mary Stuckey. Well, still to come at 5, a landmark gets ready to close down.
And we're going back to the Metrodome for Jeff Passolt Sports when we come right back.
Do you know what it takes to look your best in glasses? The perfect frames. It's easy at the iWorks. This month only buy any frame and get one free.
It's all right here at the iWorks, the superstore of eyewear.
From our collection of over 4,000 frames in a wide range of prices.
To our extensive selection of affordable, high-quality contact lenses of virtually every type. The iWorks has it all.
The iWorks, looking your best and seeing your best at hard-to-beat prices.
I'd like to tell you about a product we've developed at Justice Brothers, JB Emission System Cleaner. As the pollutants circulate through the emission system of your car, deposits of oil and carbon are left in the engine. Symptoms of a dirty emission system are poor gas mileage, rough idle installing, hard starting, and poor engine performance. Have your car's emission system cleaned today with JB Emission System Cleaner. Available at automotive service centers. Tell them Ed Justice sent you.
Once upon a time, there was the radio, iron, toaster, refrigerator, and lights. Then came the freezer, blender, color TV, hi-fi, dishwasher, furnace fan, and dehumidifier. Next, the tape deck, automatic coffee maker, food processor, microwave, air conditioner, space heater, and now the VCR, self-cleaning oven, video games, and home computer. Today, we use more electricity than ever. So use it wisely, because it all adds up.
Energy NSP.
If baseball were like horse racing, you'd get to play. If football were like horse racing, you'd get to play.
I'm gonna bust your face.
If hockey were like horse racing, you'd get to play. See the difference for yourself. Go play at the track. The only sport in town you can watch and play at the same time. Canterbury Downs.
Well, of course, the only place to go right now is back down to the Metrodome and Jeff Passolt.
Let's do it.
Jeff?
All right, thanks a lot, Paul Kirsten. Well, we are looking forward to the big game tonight, of course, as we've mentioned all evening long here. 6:35, we're going to get things going on our Channel 11 special report. With me right now, the starting pitcher for the American League, a St. Paul native, Jack Morris. Jack, I think just to refresh everybody's memory, maybe you got to tell us a little bit about your career here in the Twin Cities before you left for the Tigers.
Well, I grew up in the St. Paul area. I played Babe Ruth ball, American Legion for Christie Park, Summer Collegiate League at the University of Minnesota when I came back from college. And then I was drafted in the June draft '76 by the Tigers.
And you've been with Detroit ever since. Things going great for you this year, a record of 10-6. You're really moving along, and now you're going to be the starting pitcher in this game tonight. How does that feel?
Well, it's a great feeling. Whenever I get to come back to St. Paul, Minneapolis area, it's just fun for me because I do live in Detroit now, and I don't get a chance to get back here that much. And I never dreamed as a kid I'd ever be able to, you know, play in a game of this magnitude here in the Twin Cities, and it's just one of the biggest thrills of my career.
All right, Jack, we're in American League City. Help us out tonight, get a win, huh?
We're going to try.
All right, Jack Morris, he's going to be the starting pitcher for the American League tonight. Let's go back to you, Paulie Kirsten.
All right, Jeff, get his autograph for me, will you?
I'll do that.
Thank you very much. Well, the landmark Hopkins Theater is closing its doors to moviegoers. The theater has been on Excelsior Avenue for 44 years, and today, the marquee tells the story of the theater's final day, and moviegoers stood in line for special $2 admission tickets. The theater will be torn down to make way for a car dealership that is expanding.
That's progress. Well, from the update desk, a Minneapolis man who was struck by a bus is still in the hospital.
Andrea Shane has that story and more from the newsroom. Andrea?
Well, Paul and Kirsten, doctors at Hennepin County Medical Center are still keeping a very close eye on Randy Bell's condition. Now, Bell was trapped beneath an MTC bus Thursday morning. He was struck while standing on the corner of Lake and Hennepin. The hospital says Bell's condition is serious, but it is stable. Several local communities are still placing restrictions on watering. Odd-even bans are in effect in Blaine, Coon Rapids, Plymouth, and Waite Park. Homes with odd-numbered addresses may water their lawns only on odd-numbered days. And partial bans are still in effect in Eden Prairie, Edina, White Bear Township. And a total ban is still enforced in St. Louis Park. And as Susan Wiese reports, that could change soon.
In St. Louis Park, lawns are parched and dry, evidence that homeowners are complying with a round-the-clock ban on sprinkling. The sprinklers have been idle for 8 days now, and in that time, water consumption has dropped roughly 40%. City officials have not penalized anyone who may be violating the ban.
If the city chose to enforce that penalty, it would be a $10 per occurrence penalty that would be added onto the utility bill. At this particular point, the city is asking for cooperation and not tacking on that $10 fee.
And by this time next week, homeowners may be allowed to water their lawns, but then only during certain hours of the day. Metro area homeowners shouldn't expect any dramatic changes in sprinkling rules and regulations anytime soon. Forecasters are predicting below normal rainfall for the remainder of July and well into August. Susan Wiese, News 11.
And finally this afternoon, the money continues to roll in from last weekend's Live Aid concerts. Donations from Saturday's Rock Telethon from London and Philadelphia total as much as $70 million, that according to early estimates. And now country music promoters are working on a similar fundraising effort, so that should be something to look forward to. And that's it from the newsroom. Paul, Kirsten?
All right, Andrea, thank you. Well, today's 11 Country Good Neighbor is being credited for his service to kids who need the help the most. Ted Christman of Minneapolis delivers cookies to kids staying at the Ronald McDonald House. He does that once a week. Ted also helps out in serving Thanksgiving dinner to children and families at the house. So we salute Ted for making Minneapolis and 11 Country such a great place to live.
Coming up next, the answer to Paul Douglas's trivia question, and we've got it.
And Paul is all set to give us tonight's Domecast for the All-Star festivities. We'll be right back.
Now Showing presents Adventure.
I don't get it. It's programming itself.
A dream becomes a fantastic reality.
Couldn't you feel it? That feeling way inside? We were flying.
An accidental discovery turns a backyard experiment into a spaceship that blasts off carrying 3 boys to explore the stars. Now,
next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future. You must not leave this house. You must not see anybody or talk to anybody. Anything you do could have serious repercussions on future events.
Marty is a time traveler who's made a technical error. He's met his parents as teenagers and might never be born because his future mother is in love with him.
Isn't he a dreamboat?
Next.
Should I kill him, Mr. Dawson? In a minute. I wouldn't do that if I were you. You're going to need every gun when that posse gets here. Andy Sims told me there's a hideout near here, so I headed for it. Hope you don't mind.
You brought a posse to my best hideout, and you ask me if I mind? You're about to die.
Western adventure unfolds as the trails of 4 reluctant heroes collide on the road to Silverado. Then, based on a true story. A father searches 10 years for his kidnapped child.
You know something, don't you?
And discovers the boy he lost has grown into a savage deep in the Emerald Forest. To get him back, he must now cross 10,000 years of culture. And finally, take note, coming next week, E.T., the extraterrestrial, and his adventures on Earth. It begins one evening when Elliot hears a noise in the garage and goes to investigate.
There's some out there. It's in the ball shop. It's throwing the ball at me. Run it!
Sponsored by Now Showing. Enjoy the movies.
Well, Willard Scott of the Today Show may be in town, but for my money, in my opinion, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, the best and most accurate weatherman in the country is right there. Paul Douglas.
That's nice of you to say. The key is pound for pound, I guess, right?
Yep, you betcha. Not
That's
dollar
nice
for
of
dollar.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Just out here putzing around in the backyard, doing some heavy-duty loitering, trying to coax some raindrops out of a dry, sunburned sky, and finally we have some waterlogged clouds stacking up on the western horizon. More on that after a peek at what's happening in the backyard right now. Pound for pound, it was a beautiful day. Mostly sunny skies right now, the temperature 86. As we take a live peek at Minneapolis from Cedar Square West, southeasterly winds at 9 miles an hour. The dew point going up, 52. The humidity 31 and the pressure 3009 and falling. The view from outer space, severe storms rumbling over the eastern seaboard, big storms over the deep south. And as we zoom in, you can see an atmospheric tug of war resulting in some irritable weather just to our west. Some of the storms over South Dakota could be severe over the next few hours, and there are some showers, as we showed you a couple of minutes ago, near Wilmer and Litchfield, about 55 miles west of the cities with this band. They could arrive anytime after 9 or 10. A slight chance of severe thunderstorms over the northwestern half of Minnesota, and there is a severe storm watch for much of South Dakota till 10. Already some reports of hail and damaging winds near Huron. And the weather map tomorrow is going to show the weather system slowing down. A cool front will stall right over central Minnesota, and that's good news. That'll mean irritable weather right through Thursday, off and on showers and thunderstorms. The best chance of bumping into a storm coming late tonight and again late tomorrow. Still enough steamy sun for a high of 87. Your 11 outlook for tonight calls for dry weather up until 9 o'clock. No problems early this evening, but watch out after 9. There could be a noisy thunderstorm, a low in the mid-60s. And then tomorrow, partly sunny, murky, hazy, thunderstorms likely, especially late in the day, a high of 85 to 90. We have a tropical depression in the Atlantic, and my question to you, Paul and Kirsten, when does it become a tropical storm?
Can we see the answers once again? Is that all right?
Well, you can see the question.
All right.
What do you think? Your choice anywhere from 39 up to 74.
We have a team answer today, right,
Yeah,
Kirsten?
we do.
Oh, okay.
Two-member team answer.
Okay.
We think it is the last one, D, 74.
74. Really?
39 miles an hour for a tropical storm. For a hurricane status, that is 74 miles an hour. If sustained winds reach 74, you have Hurricane Anna. As it stands now, we have 35-mile-an-hour winds, and if that goes up to 39, we will have Tropical Storm Anna, the first of the season in the Atlantic.
They name the tropical storms?
That's right. When the winds reach 39 miles an hour, that's when they officially get a name.
Oh, well, all right. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
We know some of you are not big baseball fans, and there are some other things happening right now that are not connected to the All-Star Game. Cheap Trick and REO Speedwagon are rocking the stage of Riverfest tonight. The stage is still set for Cyrano de Bergerac at the Guthrie Theater. And the Ordway is staging a performance by the Minnesota Jazz Dance Company tonight. And for just $1, you can enjoy a pig roast tonight at Mingles in Brooklyn Park. And that sounds good to you, doesn't it?
That really does.
Keep starving.
I'll tell you what, and if you don't like any of that, just come on over here, come on out in the backyard, and Paul Douglas will cook you up a hot dog or a burger or something. Guarantee you. At least if we bend his arm a little bit, maybe. Well, for many, the All-Star Game is a night to remember, and it's a time to recall some of those baseball memories.
NBC Nightly News is next, and Paul and Diana will be back at 6.
And we're going to leave you now with these baseball memories. See you later.
So long.
The Minnesota Twins.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score. We're gonna win, Twins, mark that baseball star. Crack out a home run, shot a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today. We're gonna
just rounded up a great deal on Wrangler jeans. Men's denim's $12.99, women's denim's $13.99, boys' denims and cords just $8.99. And when you buy 3, you get a mail-in rebate for an extra pair free. Wrangler jeans from Target.
When it comes to siding, Menards has it all. From textured plywood siding to stucco, from primed lap siding to the natural beauty of western red cedar. Choose wood grain vinyl lap siding on sale now, and you'll never have to paint again. Vinyl siding is maintenance free. Installation is a snap, and it's on sale now for just $3.79 per double lap section. Check for savings on colors too. That's wood grain vinyl lap siding from the Wise Buy sale at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Is your washing machine sometimes filled with nasty little surprises?
Globs.
Globs.
Mary, you got 'em.
Globs, the clinging remains of undissolved powders. How do you avoid them? New Easy Dissolving Cheer. New Cheer helps stop globs even in cold, so your clothes come out clean in any temperature.
No globs. No globs.
Try new Easy Dissolving Cheer and help say goodbye to globs for good.
It's a great day for Minnesota, a great day for baseball. Tuesday at 6:30 on...
Good evening. I'm Tom Brokaw with NBC Nightly News. Life goes on. That was the movie.